Alright, welcome to the stream, guys. And we have the Hungarian Grand Prix qualifying today. Very, very exciting indeed. It's going to be very, very good considering we have track temperatures around 51 degrees, which means it'll be very difficult for the drivers. And the 2.7-mile circuit is going to make it very difficult in terms of traffic for all of the drivers because lots of traffic happens in Q1 and drivers get held up, they can't finish their lap, and that causes a lot of surprise qualifying exits. Hello, Rickus, nice to see that you're back, and yeah. Alright, hello MCTG. Um, yeah, so we have the Hungarian Grand Prix. According to the weather, there isn't any rain. Yesterday they were talking about it constantly that it's going to rain and this is going to happen and we're going to get some crazy amazing race, but there is unfortunately no rain. As you guys might have noticed already, we do have a so yeah counter on the stream, and yeah, so every time I say so yeah, then just type exclamation mark so yeah, and I will increase the counter. Um, yeah, thanks, Ruckus. I do appreciate it. Yeah, it took me quite a while to do all the edits, but I did enjoy doing the editing as well. Um, so I'll be sure to make some more. Maybe I'll make them a bit longer, maybe 10 minutes or so. And yeah, I look forward to you guys watching it. That was rather loud. Let's turn that volume down. Okay, so we're gonna have George Russell. By the looks of it, he has another shot at getting into Q3. He's been driving absolutely exceptionally for the past few weeks, and and Hungary is his driving style of circuit. It's a driver's circuit, and it requires smooth, sweeping movements of the steering wheel. And George Russell is very good at those. And by the looks of it, we could see George Russell get into Q3 again. It will be very, very good indeed if he does do that. Hello, Multi Ninja and Achlan Shridhar. Um, yeah, but the battle up at the front between Hamilton and Verstappen, it is going to be so, so interesting to see what happens between those two guys. After the crash last week, it was very, very, very intense between the two drivers and the two teams. Red Bull going completely at Mercedes, saying, "What are you doing?" And Mercedes fighting back with their statements. Um, yeah, it's very exciting indeed to see what's going to happen between those two drivers. And I'm looking forward to their battle out on track. I want to see maybe Verstappen blocking Hamilton just because that would be funny. Um, yeah. Oh, we've got 75 viewers. If you guys haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. Um, and qualifying is starting in 15 minutes time. And yeah, 15 minutes and we will be underway for qualifying. Um, Bottas has been looking quite strong, in fact, actually. In the past, in FP2, he topped FP2, was quickest, and is looking good for him. We'll be able to see if he can carry that pace onwards into Q1, 2, and 3. But qualifying is coming very, very soon, and he was down in third um, in FP3. Verstappen was in second and Hamilton was in first, only by 1/10 of a second between Hamilton and Verstappen, and then another tenth and a half between Verstappen and Bottas. So the gap at the top is so so small. Um, Anything could happen really. A tiny little, if Hamilton gets a tiny little bit of traffic, Verstappen could take pole. If Verstappen and Hamilton get a bit of traffic, then Bottas could take pole. Nobody really knows. George really wants to get that Merc Seek. I'm sure he will. Yeah, I'm very sure indeed that George will. Um, he's been driving very very well indeed. Um, there's nothing stopping him other than maybe the fact he hasn't got any points um, for Williams, but I think that's more of Williams' fault rather than George's fault because, well, it's kind of Williams to give him a car that can actually score points, and they haven't really done that. So, yeah, I'm just going to move this along so you guys can. Right, there we go. So it's a bit bigger. Um, Red Bull and Mercedes rivalry is two 8-year-old girls fighting. Thank you for the 5K subs. Congratulations. Yeah, we have hit 5K. Onwards and upwards, guys. I've set the sub goal at 10K. We'll see if we can make it. Yeah. All right. Um, what's going on now? 15 minutes left. Perez not being able to perform really. He's been around about a full second behind Verstappen's pace, which is not looking good for him, considering Red Bull really needs someone up there to challenge Mercedes and to mess up and to be able to do 2-on-1 strategy or 2v2 strategy rather than it just being the two Mercedes against Verstappen, whereas it should be the two Red Bulls against the two Mercedes. Um, so Red Bull really needs Perez to come up to pace and get up to Verstappen's speed. And I mean, it's very difficult indeed. Matching Verstappen and Hamilton, both of the drivers are at the top of their game, driving absolutely exceptionally little to no mistakes from either driver. Um, and yeah, matching those guys' pace is very, very difficult. Valtteri Bottas has been doing it successfully for quite a while. Sergio Perez is going to have to come up to the task and do that as well because he's currently 1 second behind Max Verstappen in the FP3 pace, which is just not where Red Bull need him, and it's not looking good for him either. So yeah. All right. So what are your guys' predictions for qualifying today? Who do you think is going to get pole position? And yeah, who do you think is going to get pole position or top three? Considering Russell has a Fiat Panda in comparison to the better teams, Mercy and Russell's doing very, very well. Yeah, Russell is doing very well. Is there a mic problem? I don't think there is a mic problem. Um, is it Q1? Q1 is starting in 14 minutes, well, 13 minutes time now. Yeah, 13 minutes and Q1 will be underway. And if Russell gets me to drink a gallon of milk, well, be sure to record it and then send it over to me then, sure. Um, has it started? Not yet. So yeah, 13 minutes and we will be underway. But nevertheless, 18 minutes for the first qualifying session. 18 minutes of drivers trying to avoid traffic, in fact, because the traffic situation around Hungary is only 2.7 miles long. They're doing 70 laps of the circuit tomorrow, and 2.7 miles is not long enough for 20 F1 cars to be driving around. It glitches out every now and then. Okay. Well, I think if I just get a bit closer to the mic, it will probably fix it. Um, yeah, okay. Hyped to see how Hamilton and Max, yeah, will be at each other's necks tomorrow. It kind of glitches. Okay. I have no idea. What do you mean by glitches? Does it like cut off my voice or because there are a few settings I can change to try and stop that from happening. But yeah. Yes, it's basically Monaco with no walls, in fact. They are going quite high speed in the middle sector. They're going like fifth gear, and yeah, it breaks sometimes. Okay, right, well, there are a few settings I can change, so I'm going to just try and fix that before everyone shows up because, well, probably wouldn't want everyone to show up and then try and fix it, really. Um, okay, so just let me know if this fixes it. I'm not too sure. It might introduce some background noise, but hopefully this fixes it. And yeah, I mean, if it's hard to explain, then dots of sound. Okay, it's just that you'll probably be able to hear the fan in my background, in the background from my laptop. Um, but other than that, this might be better. Ferrari, I mean, Ferrari usually have better pace on a Friday compared to everyone else, but Ferrari were in Monaco, they were very, very strong indeed. And this is a very similar track to Monaco where they have a lot of twist and tight corners. And if Ferrari can maintain that pace that they had in Monaco, it will be very, very good for them. And yeah. So do let me know if the mic's improved or if it stopped cutting out. Um, but I think that Ferrari will have good pace. They'll be able to definitely challenge McLaren between for the lead at the front. I mean, behind the Red Bull and Mercedes. And yeah, it's still glitching. Hello, C Paul. They're starting in 10 minutes time now. 10 minutes. Right. Well, I can't exactly hear what's going on and what the problem is with the mic. So, right. So this is like the default mic. I think this is all right. Um, Mic crash in FP3. Yeah. I think the car will probably be able to get fixed. If we're looking at it though, it's very very dry indeed, and the track will be getting rubbered in more and more as the session progresses. So there's going to be track evolution to watch out for in Q1 and Q2, especially because the drivers who go later and later into the session, then it will the drivers who go later and later into the session, then they'll have a better chance of getting out of the session really, um, and placing higher up the field. And yeah, Mick Schumacher for pole. Let's go, Mick. People can hope, but I don't think a Haas is going to get pole anytime soon. Maybe in 2022, if these guys somehow pull out some magic, but it's rather unlikely. Let's see. Who else can we talk about? Ricardo has been talking about how he's feeling more like at home in the McLaren car. So he is looking to maybe get close to Norris. He hasn't been able to perform recently. Last week obviously had a very good performance, getting P4 and 5 with the McLaren guys, Lando Norris and Daniel Ricciardo. So it was very good indeed from last week. But we'll have to see if that pace can carry on into next week, into this week really, because um, if it doesn't carry on, then it's going to be a very up and down season for Danny Rick, and it's not looking good for him, especially with McLaren like going higher and higher up the field. The higher up the field you go, the more consistency you need, really, and that's why Hamilton is doing so well. He's just one of the most consistent drivers in the entirety of F1. Um, Quali is starting in 8 minutes time now. But a lot of drivers having issues in the final sector. Third in the last corner, second to last corner. Both of the drivers either getting understeer or going off the track. Um, and yeah, all right. So um, what do I have to do? I have to change it. I have to change the title to Q1 starting. Starting in 7 minutes time, guys. So yeah. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to change that so yeah thing because I'd probably say we're at like 3. Yeah, so let's just put that at 3. All right. Um, so qualifying will be underway very very soon. We'll get drivers out on track. Well, let's see if Pierre Gasly can bounce back. Didn't have the best weekend last year. Last didn't have the best weekend last week. Like 2 weeks ago really, and let's see if he can bounce back because he's been consistently up in P5 and P6, and we'll be able to see if he can bounce back from that bad weekend in Silverstone. Yeah, we do have a so yeah counter, so we're on 3 now. Um, but I'll check at the end of the stream or ever at the end of the sessions. Um, I'll check how many so yeahs we've got, and then I'll add them up. So at the end of Q1, however many so yeahs we've got, I'll put it onto the screen, and then at the end of Q2 and the end of Q3, just as a little fun thing because apparently I say so yeah a lot, which I do in fact. Quali starts in 5 minutes time, Leah. So 5 minutes and underway. It's go time. Like green light in the pit lane, and cars will be coming out onto the circuit very very soon. Um, Fernando Alonso had a spin yesterday at turn four. Yuki Tsunoda also had a spin at the same corner, turn four. It's looking difficult for those guys because turn four, the wind is kind of at a crosswind, and you're getting a tailwind once you've turned in, and a crosswind once you're at the start. And it's very, very difficult at turn four because it's the highest speed corner of the circuit. You're going slightly uphill, so that gives you even less grip. And it's turn four is one of the most difficult corners on the entire circuit, really. And yeah. Alright, well, I'll change the Soviet counter to like 5 then, I guess. Five's probably a more accurate number. Um, but Mick had a crash in the middle sector, and all of the drivers struggling really because the amount of concentration you need at this circuit is so immense. There's like 10 seconds you have in the entire lap when you're not turning. Otherwise, you're just going like you're going left, right, braking, accelerating. You're doing something, and the amount of focus you need is so high, and you just have to get into a rhythm. And if you're not in that rhythm, you can lose out so much time. So anyone who can get into that rhythm really quickly, just hooking all of the corners up perfectly, going all the way to the edge of track limits on the entry and exit, will maximize their chances of getting into Q3 and higher up into the starting field really. Um, Also, guys, if you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. It really help out the stream. We're only on 16 likes. We've got 200 people watching, so it doesn't kind of match up. So be sure to hit the like button, and also be sure to vote in the poll because if you guys do want to like join on like in the on the stream, and talk like with me on stream live on stream, then yeah, be sure to vote in the poll, and I'll know and I'll sort something out. Yeah. I think Hamilton. I mean, Hamilton's been going very, very well indeed. It's looking good for all of. It's looking good for Hamilton and Verstappen. Both of the drivers just flying. But we'll see who can come out on top in the Mercedes or the Red Bull. Both drivers like absolutely at each other's necks, pushing each other to the absolute limit. And this is what Formula One's about, really. The most exciting and thrilling racing in the entire world. Um, I'm doing good, gamer Fabtion King. You're watching from the train. Well, cool. Hope you have a safe train journey then, I guess. Um, okay, so here we are in Budapest, Hungary. Um, and in 2021, we've been here in 2020 as well. We had a very exciting race with the start of the race being wet. Um, and yeah, Budapest is the circuit is 12 miles away from the city of Budapest, and this circuit is around a lake, I think. Oh no, it's not. But the circuit is a very high speed, enjoyable circuit, flowing for the drivers. Q2 starts 18 minutes after Q1 finishes. Um, but we have a 2.7 mile circuit, 4.4 kilometers for you other guys. We have top speeds of 200 miles an hour, going down the start finish straight, and the elevation on this track is around 35 meters from the lowest point to the highest point. Turn one, the best overtaking opportunity on the entire circuit. Just a third gear corner with a fairly large braking zone, and yeah, turn two and three as well. Also, really good opportunities to overtake, especially if you had a battle at turn one. Just carry on your overtaking maneuver. Turn six and seven, a very tight, quick chicane. To see like that will be a point at the start of the race where loads of drivers like go into single file rather than going side by side. Today we have the soft, medium, and hard tires, of course, and the soft tires are the C4s, mediums are C3s, and the hards are C2s. And obviously, a lot of the drivers and the teams will be looking to go in the middle on the C2 tires for Q2 so they can start the race on those tires because, as you guys know, we are not in sprint qualifying as we were in Silverstone 2 weeks ago. And yeah. Are you going to sing Supermax if Max hits pole? No, unfortunately, I said I would sing Supermax if we hit 1.5k likes. So if we hit 1.5k likes, I'll sing Supermax. But other than that, I don't think I'm going to be singing Supermax. Um, yeah. All right then. 1 minute and Q1 will be underway. Yeah. 1 minute and all of the drivers will have a green light at the end of the pit lane, and drivers will start coming out to do their flying laps. Okay, so Sonoda is the first out. Sonoda obviously hasn't had much experience because he crashed out in FP1, and that led he couldn't start. He couldn't carry on in FP1, and the car wasn't fixed until right at the end of FP2. So Sonoda going right out early to try and get some experience and not crash. Uh, and Sonoda and well yeah. So Sonoda's out, Raikkonen's out, Giovinazzi's out, Mazepin's out, and all of the other drivers are still in the pit lane. Lewis Hamilton, yeah, so those four drivers are coming out. We'll probably see Mick Schumacher and then Williams come out as well very, very soon indeed, because no one wants to get held up in traffic. Yeah, Sonoda's just coming up into turn 4 now. All the drivers are following behind him very, very soon. And yeah. Alright, so we'll start the commentary now. So, so Sonoda's navigating his way through the middle sector, and the middle sector consists of a left and then a right and then a left and then a right. And each of them, the speed is increasing more and more as you go throughout the sector, and that is why it puts so much load on the tires. As you're speeding up and you're also putting lefts and rights, it's so difficult for both of the drivers. I mean, it's so difficult for the tires to manage and you not to lose grip. And by the time, because you've gone through the middle sector and you're flying through the middle sector, like the speed's increasing as you go. By the time you get into third sector, your tires are already overheating, which is the very big issue here. Going through the middle sector, your tires are like absolutely shot, and then by the time you get into the third sector, you're gonna have to manage those tires and make sure you don't get too much wheel spin really. So Sonoda's starting his lap. I'll take you guys through a lap now. So he'll be approaching around 200 miles per hour going into turn 1, braking at 70 meters, shifting down into third gear, having a very smooth turn in, making sure not to hit the curb on the entry, otherwise he will unsettle the car. Going into turn 2 now, braking, going downhill, so he'll have a lot of understeer, having to tighten the car up early because he has to straighten line for turn 3. Then going down the straight into turn 4, just flicking the car left, 6th gear corner, absolutely flat out after a tiny little break. Turn 5, I made a little video on that if you guys haven't seen it. But now going into turn 6, a quick right left chicane, and it is very, very good indeed from Tsunoda. It got the fastest first sector, quicker than Mazepin. That is to be expected, but now coming through into the third sector, if he can hold it together on that lap, he does a 27 second second sector. Well, that's a bit of a tongue twister. But now coming through into the final corner, this is also the second to last corner is also downhill, so he will be getting a lot of understeer. Now into the final corner, making sure to get a good exit onto the line. He comes across the line and goes P1, obviously because he's the first one to cross the line, with a 1 minute 18.6 to cross the line. Next across the line is Nikita Mazepin with a 1 minute 18.9, 8 tenths behind Yuki Tsunoda. Next we have Kimi Raikkonen going across the second sector with purple first, second sector, and across the line now goes ahead of Tsunoda with a 1 minute 17.9. And then we have Antonio Giovinazzi coming across the line in P2, 1 tenth behind Kimi Raikkonen. I do have the Serie counter. That means, I guess, yeah. I mean, we can fulfill our agreement after the tomorrow's race. Yeah. I will have a quick check if mixed cars okay. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Mazepin now up into P4. So Bottas has come out onto track. We have some team radio, in fact, from Nikita Mazepin, so I will play that.
And we have a tailwind into 2, the slightly stronger than this morning. So similar wind direction, but slightly stronger.
Okay, so a tailwind into turn 2 does not help these guys cause they're already going downhill, and that introduces a bunch of understeer, and then not having a tailwind into turn 2 makes it even more horrible, really, for those drivers. So a lot more drivers come out on track now. We have Bottas, Hamilton, Norris, Russell, Latifi, Ricciardo, Verstappen, and soon to be Perez also coming out of the pit lane. These guys are obviously trying not to get held up in any traffic, so Bottas will be starting his lap right behind the lot of Raikkonen, Tsunoda, Giovinazzi. Those guys are coming into the pits, so Bottas has a clear track ahead of him, only with Gasly in the middle sector. But other than that, Bottas clear track. Tsunoda also recharging his battery to try and stay out longer because he needs to get some experience trying to push. But here we have Bottas starting his lap now, going into the first corner, obviously breaking the 70-meter board, and he is pushing the car to the absolute limit here. You can see him squirming for grip as he gets onto the throttle, and you can see a lot of understeer as well in turn 2 that we were talking about from the tailwind. Now into turn 4, both of the drivers are going to be very careful indeed. Firstly for track limits, and secondly for the tailwind that is also coming into the corner, into the car really. And yeah, Kimi is still technically P1, but we do have Valtteri Bottas on a flying lap. Hamilton has beat Valtteri Bottas' first sector by 1/10 of a second already, absolutely flying from Lewis Hamilton. And yeah, Bottas takes the fastest middle sector. We'll wait and see what Hamilton can do from that. Bottas is flying though, but Hamilton is flying even faster because Hamilton is absolutely taking the car to the absolute limit of track limits. I've just said limit of track limits. Okay. Anyway, so going into the final third sector, his tyres will definitely be overheating. He steals the fastest middle sector from Valtteri Bottas once again. Bottas crosses the line 1 minute 16.6, a nearly full 1.5 seconds ahead of Kimi Raikkonen. So one Finn 1.5 seconds quicker than the other Finn. Obviously, Bottas in a Mercedes, Raikkonen in an Alpha, but Hamilton goes 2/10 quicker than Valtteri Bottas. So Valtteri Bottas definitely needs to find some more pace if he wants to challenge Hamilton for pole. But Lando Norris does a very good job indeed, going only 4/10 behind Valtteri Bottas, slotting into P3 now. And we have Max Verstappen on a flying lap. So here we go. Fastest first sector by a tenth quicker than Lewis Hamilton. Fastest middle sector also a tenth quicker by Lewis Hamilton. And we have Max Verstappen now crossing the line, and Max Verstappen goes P1 again. He was exact same third sector time as Lewis Hamilton, but quicker in the first and second sectors. So absolutely flying from Max Verstappen, just flying away from all of the competition really. So Supermax indeed. Also, all of you guys that have voted yes in that you're interested in coming live onto a stream, would you guys be all right with downloading an app on your phone so you guys can talk to me, and then you guys can come live on stream? Yeah, so just do let me know in the chat. But all purple sectors from Max Verstappen, blown Mercedes out of the water really. 2/10 quicker than Hamilton, and 4/10 quicker than Valtteri Bottas. Now this is just Q1, so the engines won't be put to maximum engine mode, but nevertheless, Max Verstappen absolutely flying indeed, especially with 9 minutes left of the Q1 session. We'll see if they go again, and we'll see if they can make anything happen. But Pierre Gasly, what a lap from him. He goes quicker than Lando Norris in the McLaren and quicker than Danny Rick. Pierre Gasly, absolutely stunning job from him. All the way, he had a bad weekend in Silverstone, but he has bounced back so well. Already up into P4. Absolute mega lap from him. Danny Rick 6/10 behind Lando Norris. Rather big gap indeed. Let's see if he can recover that gap. Maybe it was a bit of a mistake from Daniel Ricciardo's part, but Danny Rick hasn't been able to catch up to Lando Norris. And Sergio Perez, what Sergio Perez did not want to see was him going P6 behind Pierre Gasly and Lando Norris. Perez definitely needs to push that tiny little bit harder and get that tiny little bit extra pace out of the car, because if he gets stuck behind Lando Norris and Pierre Gasly for tomorrow's race, it is not going to go well for him. Ferrari are starting their laps. That is true. Thanks for pointing that out, Lev. Green first sectors from both of the drivers, and Sainz's first sector was in fact quicker than Lewis Hamilton's first sector. So Sainz is definitely flying. His first sector was absolutely crazy. Let's see what they can pull off in the second sector. Alonso also doing very well indeed. Let's see where Seb... Wait, where's Seb? Oh, Seb's P9. Alright, so Seb's P9 with, well, a pretty alright lap just behind Danny Rick. Stroll goes 2 tenths quicker than Seb Vettel, and we'll see Carlos Sainz's middle sector was actually very close indeed to Max Verstappen's middle sector. So maybe the Ferraris actually have a chance up at battling at the front here. So maybe we have the old battles between Red Bull, Ferrari, and Mercedes. And as I say that, Carlos Sainz goes 4 tenths behind Max Verstappen, and that is nipping at the heels of Valtteri Bottas. In fact, only half a tenth is the gap between the two drivers. Carlos Sainz has pulled out an absolute mega lap in that Ferrari car. Charles Leclerc hasn't been able to do that well. He is still like a solid 4 tenths behind Carlos Sainz, but Carlos Sainz mega job in qualifying today. Only half a tenth behind Valtteri Bottas, which is amazing considering he's in that Ferrari. We'd already expected that the Ferrari were going to have good pace, but nevertheless, amazing lap from Carlos Sainz. So the drivers currently in the elimination zone are Schumacher, Mazepin, Latifi, Russell, and Tsunoda. I don't think Schumacher will be able to come out in time. There haven't been any updates about his car condition. If there are, I will let you know, but there haven't been any updates recently about his car condition. So if he can make it out, then he will, but it looks like his car is still broken from FP3, which is not ideal, really. Because he's going to be starting last, so... But Perez's laps have not been doing that well. As you say, Rohit. Perez down in P9. He definitely needs to get up into where Sainz is, really. His lap should be around about where Sainz is, or maybe Bottas's pace. Just not being able to get that maximum performance, really. Right, so Perez going on another flying lap. Improves in the first sector, has the exact same first sector time as Lewis Hamilton, well, basically the same. Goes across the middle sector. He is 5 tenths slower in the middle sector compared to his teammate. That is where he's losing all of his time. In the middle sector, 5 tenths slower than Max Verstappen. Middle sector, obviously quite a long sector, but it has a lot of corners, so there is a lot of place for improvement for Sergio Perez if he wants to get anywhere near the drivers at the top. He crosses the line and does not improve his position. Had a horrific third sector as well, in fact. 4 tenths slower than Verstappen on his third sector and 5 tenths slower in the middle sector. So, rip Perez indeed. We have some team radio from Carlos Sainz, so I shall play that. Carlos Sainz. Here we go.
Oh my god. Guys, come on. I did the best I could to get along with.
Okay, so Sainz did an absolutely epic job, but then he had a bit of a tangling with Tsunoda, probably by traffic. So the Ferraris put Sainz in the way of Yuki Tsunoda, and Sainz might have held up Yuki Tsunoda, which, So Sainz had an absolutely epic lap up in P4, but he may get hit with a grid penalty, which would be very, very unfortunate indeed. We have some team radio from Sergio Perez, in fact, the man who is struggling in this Red Bull car.
How's the balance? Anything we can help you with?
Yeah, front is more on the edge.
So he's saying front is more on the edge, which probably means like he's getting a bite. So when he turns the steering wheel, he gets the initial bit of steering, but then after that, the turning force kind of like falls away and he gets a lot of understeer in the mid corner. So Red Bull are going to have to find a way to fix that now, with 5 minutes left, well, 3 minutes left of Q1, and the rest of the qualifying session. They're going to have to do something to try and get through into Q3 and put in a good lap, really. Sainz may get a grid penalty, yeah, aye. The smooth operator not being so smooth today. Red Bull don't care about the second driver, but I think they need the second driver if they want Max Verstappen to win the championship, because Max Verstappen can have pace and everything, but if they get screwed over by the strategy, then it's not looking good for those guys. Also, guys, if you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so, and if you guys haven't subscribed as well, be sure to do that, because I stream every single week. So, yeah, I stream every week for the qualifying and the race sessions. So to make sure you don't miss any of the streams, be sure to subscribe and yeah, hit the like button. We're only 3 likes away from 50, so if we could hit 50 likes, that'd be pretty cool. Yeah. So everyone coming out now for the final runs of Q3. We have Carlos Sainz, Charles Leclerc, Danny Rick, Seb Vettel, Kimi Raikkonen, Antonio Giovinazzi, Yuki Tsunoda, George Russell, Nicholas Latifi, and Mazepin. Hamilton and Bottas are coming out as well, in fact. I think those guys might be coming out just to gather some extra knowledge about what they can do and what they can't do when pushing on the circuit. But nevertheless, these drivers are coming out on track to see, and this will definitely be contributing to the traffic problem. With only 1 minute and 45 seconds left of Q1, anyone who's starting their lap now, so Mazepin may get held up by Hamilton, Stroll, or Latifi by the time he gets to the end of his lap. And yeah. Alright, so this is it. Can George Russell make it out of Q1? Yeah. That is the question. So George Russell starts his lap going into turn 1 around about 200 miles an hour from that Williams. Even the Williams is flying at that kind of speeds. And yeah, DRS enabled, going into the braking zone, coming out of the braking zone, being very careful on the throttle, again going on DRS into turn 2 where they'll have heaps of understeer, then into turn 3 the tiny little kink, absolutely flat out, but these guys need to keep it within track limits here. Schumacher's car did not get fixed, so that he hasn't come out and set a lap time yet. George Russell puts it through the turn 4 flick and is still out on track. Hasn't spun on the curbs, which is very, very easy to do indeed. Turn 6, 7 chicane, very easy to, if you hit the inside sausage curb, your lap is over. You completely bottle the lap because your car's just completely too unstable to do anything. Then coming through into the third sector, George Russell has got a green first sector, green second sector, and we'll see if he can make it through. Tsunoda crosses the line, and Tsunoda goes P16. So Tsunoda cannot make it out of Q1 with Pierre Gasly up in P5. It's not looking good for Yuki Tsunoda here. George Russell now crosses the line and goes P17. He also cannot make it through. It's looking very, very difficult for these guys. Seb Vettel now P13 crosses the line, goes up into P8. Good lap from him. Now 3/10 ahead of his teammate. Danny Rick crosses the line and he does not improve. Down in P13, he is at risk. Valtteri Bottas crosses the line, goes for a 1 minute 16.5. Only now 1/10 behind Lewis Hamilton. Still not able to beat Lewis Hamilton's time. Next across the line is Giovinazzi and Raikkonen. Raikkonen makes it through. Giovinazzi also makes it through for the time being. Hamilton crosses the line and he has the fastest third sector but cannot improve to beat Max Verstappen's time. So maybe Hamilton backed off in the middle sector and then got the fastest third sector, but still backing off in the middle sector didn't help him in terms of lap time overall. And now, yeah. So Stroll crosses the line, goes up into P6, 1/10 quicker than Seb, and then Latifi also crosses the line and is in P18. So George Russell continues his streak of out-qualifying every Williams teammate he has. And yeah, that is Q1 for you guys. So the drivers eliminated are Yuki Tsunoda, George Russell, Nicholas Latifi, Nikita Mazepin, and Mick Schumacher. Yeah. Alright, if you guys haven't hit the like button, we've got 500 people watching and only 55 likes. So, yeah, if you guys haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. It will really help out the channel. And, yeah, so Q2 will be underway very, very soon. All the drivers just coming back into the pits, getting their cars refueled up, ready to go for P2, for Q2, sorry. And, yeah. Why is Yuki in P16? I think Yuki did not have enough time to like get used to the track. In fact, because in FP1 he had an accident and he was out for the rest of the session, and then FP2 he couldn't drive because his car was broken. And because his car was broken in FP1 and FP2, didn't get much practicing time. Just only had Q3 from today to practice, and yeah, if he hasn't been able to practice in the car, then he's not going to have the best qualifying session, and that shows in his lap time really. 1 minute 17.9 in P16, not good enough from Yuki Tsunoda, but that was in his own fault really because he crashed out in Q1, and yeah. No, I think Russell is overrated. I don't think Russell is overrated. I think he's a very good driver. And I definitely think he deserves a Mercedes seat. So he's not overrated. He's been putting in solid performances. Obviously, had a bit of an issue trying like getting any points. He bottled it in Imola, but yeah. Yeah, no Q2 for Mr. Saturday, unfortunately. We have some team radio from Yuki Tsunoda, in fact, the man who's been eliminated, so I shall play that. Yeah.
P16 Yuki. Box.
Yeah, I mean, no grip. Yeah, just that's all.
So Yuki Tsunoda saying he's had no grip. Yeah. So if he's complaining about lack of grip, then he's not going to push to the absolute limit, is he? Because he's not confident in the car. And yeah. George Russell was pushing to the absolute limit for sure, though. He was definitely. He was. Oh, what was I going to say? George Russell, out of the turn 6-7 chicane, was completely all over the grass. At least the right side of the wheel was. So George Russell was pushing to the absolute limits. Unfortunately, couldn't make it through. He was a 1.6 tenths away from making it through into Q2. And yeah, maybe that Williams just didn't have the pace to make it through. Do you think there's a chance for Albon to replace Yuki? I think I think Yuki's been performing well enough to keep that Red Bull seat. I mean, like AlphaTauri seat. So if Yuki can carry on performing as he is and maybe improve a bit and not crash out so much, then for sure. I don't think Albon will be able to get a place in AlphaTauri really. Yeah. Can I explain what happened to Sainz? Sainz basically he had a really good lap. I can't. Oh, about the Yuki Tsunoda thing. So Sainz had a really good lap, but then Ferrari didn't tell him about the traffic, so he blocked Tsunoda slightly, and therefore he might get a grid penalty. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah. Albon must come back to Formula One, please. I mean, Albon's a very nice guy, and I think I do hope that he does come back into F1 at some point. But the openings into Formula One, obviously, only 20 drivers can actually drive in Formula One, so it's very difficult for anyone to make it into it. Exclamation mark. So yeah, I think this. I think we count. I think someone counted. I think we're at 7. 7. So yes. So I'll change that. 7 and done. There we go. What time does Q2 start? Q2 starts in like 1 minute and 15 seconds. So 1 minute and 15 seconds and Q2 will be underway. Yeah. Remembering Hamilton versus Albon, yeah. We have some team radio from George Russell. In fact, the man who was so close to getting knocked out. We'll wait and see we'll see what he has to say now.
We can't get it right every time, guys. On to tomorrow.
Yep. So George Russell just saying, you cannot be right every single time. Can't get it through into Q3 every single time, which is fair enough, really. So he made a bit of a mistake, and the car just wasn't up to speed anyway. And yeah. Do you think Williams or Alpha should go for Alex Albon? I think that would actually be a decent deal. Alfa Romeo could maybe... I think Williams could definitely get Alex Albon. But obviously they have to get some of the Mercedes drivers because they've got Mercedes engine. And getting a Red Bull driver might go against some of the rules. So F1 is a very complicated sport with a lot of politics in it. Politics involved, and not many people really like politics. So yeah, I just said so yeah again. Okay, cool. But as you guys can... Okay, so for all of you Australian fans out there, the thing is, there's around 15 corners on this circuit. And in quite a lot of the corners, you can't lose that much time. But in the corners where you have to brake and then have a nice turn in and a good exit as well, we can see clearly between Daniel Ricciardo and Lando Norris, the gap between the two drivers around about at each corner is 1/10 of a second. So the gap between the two drivers now is 7/10, and there are around about 7 corners which require a lot of like precise acceleration, braking, and turning in. And yeah, so turn 1, turn 2, turn 5, turn 6, 7 as a little combination, and then the final 2 corners, well, final 3 corners, in fact. So those corners are where Danny Rick's losing out by about a tenth of a second each corner. So if Danny Ricciardo can find out by looking at the telemetry what Norris is doing, if Norris is braking slightly early and carrying in extra speed, and maybe he'll be able to replicate that. But anyway, back into Q2 now. So all of the drivers that are coming out on track, we have Verstappen, Hamilton. Hamilton, Bottas, and Perez on the mediums. Stroll and Vettel are coming out on the softs. Then we have Kimi Raikkonen also on the softs. And yeah, by the looks of it, everyone else will be on the softs except the top 4 drivers who will be on the mediums because those guys want to have a good race strategy for tomorrow's race, really. Yeah. My cows are faster than Mazepin. I mean, yesterday, according to the graphic, Mazepin was 4.6 seconds behind on terms of pace compared to like Max Verstappen, and Mick Schumacher was only 2 seconds behind on pace, and Mazepin was 4.57 behind on pace. I actually put that on my Twitter, so yeah, if you guys want to do follow my Twitter or Instagram, then be sure to do that. I post memes on Instagram and then cool F1 information and stuff on Twitter. So yeah, be sure to follow me, and yeah. So we have Valtteri Bottas with the fastest first sector, 27.9. Next we have Lewis Hamilton behind him, then Max Verstappen, and then Sergio Perez, last out of the top 4 drivers currently on flying laps on the mediums. Kimi Raikkonen starting his lap, but we have a quickest first sector from Max Verstappen, a 27.8, and both Mercedes on a 27.9. So Bottas got the quickest middle sector here, obviously because he's first out on track. Well, let's see what Lewis Hamilton can do. Bottas may get held up in some traffic here with Lance Stroll and Pierre Gasly. Wait and see what actually happens between those guys. Hamilton also may get caught up between Norris and Gasly in terms of traffic, because this 2.7 mile circuit is not good for traffic in terms of space for all of the drivers to get out of the way. So Valtteri Bottas sets a provisional lap time of 1 minute 17.0. Then we have Lewis Hamilton across the line, 1 minute 17.5. So Bottas definitely got blocked in the final corner, or something. Oh no, maybe it's just an absolutely amazing lap from Lewis Hamilton, because he goes 0.2 quicker than Max Verstappen. Wow. I mean, we thought Max was flying, but then Lewis has just stole the show. Goes a full 10th and a half quicker than Max Verstappen in the middle sector. And yeah, that is where it really shows. Perez is at least Perez has caught up to Max now. 2/10 is a gap. I mean, 4/10 is a gap between the two drivers. We have a red flag, I think. Oh no. I'll just double check why we thought we had a red flag. Someone may have crashed. We'll wait and see on that. Raikkonen crosses the line for 1:19. Vettel now goes across the line and is up. What a lap from Seb Vettel. Oh, he's on the softs. Okay, never mind. But Seb Vettel into P3 on the softs. Only 4/10 behind Lewis Hamilton's lap time. And Stroll is 6/10 behind Vettel. Gasly goes slightly behind Vettel, only half a tenth between the two drivers. But Vettel absolutely mega lap from him. Norris sets the fastest middle sector, and yet can only go P7 behind Sergio Perez. Yeah, I mean, what an epic middle sector from Lando Norris, but then could not hook it up in the final sector. He maybe got blocked by the looks of it. His third sector time was significantly up. So all of these drivers struggling with traffic here because, well, that's just how it goes around such a short circuit, short and narrow circuit. Very similar to Monaco indeed. Yeah. Your mic is bugging. Can you please try to fix it, please? I mean, I've done everything I can try to fix it. What do you mean it's bugging? I can't exactly tell. I'll have to watch it back. I'll watch it back and I'll check by what you mean. I'll have it fixed for tomorrow, but yeah. Okay. So, after the first runs of Q1, we have drivers start. We have actually Leclerc and Sainz yet to start their laps, and yeah, it's hard to describe what's going on with the mic. Okay, there are little voice cracks. Okay. Do you remember in your past streams? Yeah, I do remember you just storms. Yeah, I remember quite a lot of you people. In fact, yeah. Okay, so Alonso has set the fastest middle sector. So everyone, apparently Alonso can do it, Norris can do it, all of the drivers putting in amazing middle sectors. We'll wait and see what the actual outcome of the middle sectors are. But Alonso goes up into P3. What a lap! Alonso is just flying like crazy, really. Goes quicker than Vettel with an absolutely epic middle sector. Max Verstappen goes for a second flying lap and does not improve because he had a mistake in the middle sector. Rather unfortunate for him, really. But great lap from Seb and Alonso. Seb, Alonso, Vettel, and even Leclerc, in fact. Look at these guys. Leclerc up in P2. Alonso... Oh, we have a yellow flag. We have a yellow flag out on track. Right, I'll change that to yellow flag. Oh, we have a red flag. Alright, someone's crashed. Red flag. I will let you guys know who's crashed in a second once I can see because it hasn't loaded yet. It looks like someone's made a bit of a mistake in one of the corners, of course. We're only 2 likes away from 100 likes, so if you guys could hit 100, if we guys could hit 100 likes, that'd be very cool. By the looks of it, it might be Carlos Sainz who's had a bit of an incident. He's like the driver that hasn't moved in quite a while. He's just been stuck there. And yeah, I think it is Carlos Sainz in the final corner. I think it's Sainz. Yep. I will just double check. It will take a while for my thing to go through. Yeah, Sainz crashed. Yep. Okay, I'm just gonna refresh the data, guys. So yeah, don't worry about it. There we go. Yep, Carlos Sainz has crashed on the entry of the final corner. So, yep, rip for Carlos Sainz. He was flying, looking very good indeed, but now made a bit of a mistake in the final corner and has just lost it. So, yeah, not looking good for the Ferrari Ferrari squad. Sainz crashes at turn 14. The Spaniard was on a hot lap with his teammate just having gone a second second on the timing sheet on the potential barnstorming qualifying. He's hit the barriers hard and the session has been red flagged. Okay, so I will let you know what happens to Carlos Sainz in fact because it's just coming up on my replay now. And yeah, so he turns in too violently into turn 14. He gets a tiny bit of his wheel onto the grass, and then when he goes into turn in, the car just snaps and will not grip up whatsoever. Yeah, so that's what's happened to Carlos Sainz. His car it's been red flagged this session. His car looks okay. The suspension probably has been damaged quite a bit. Can't exactly tell what's happened to it, but yeah. Okay. The cars are going to return to the pit lane, and we will have another. We'll have well. So I'm just going to confirm. So Sainz going into turn 14, goes and he just gets a snap of oversteer. In fact, the car just absolutely snaps away from him. Yeah, he's lost a front wing, but Ferrari should be able to replace that. But they just go in onto the entry of turn 14, and it looks like the rear's just snapped out of nowhere, which is rather odd indeed. Because that usually doesn't happen. Usually happens when you touch a bit of the grass. But yeah, don't know. The gearbox might be broken, but he has hit the car side on. He's hit the wall side on, so maybe that has reduced some of the impact. But that'll definitely damage the suspension more. Yeah. Okay, so we have some team radio from Carlos Sainz now, and I shall play that. So, yep, here we go.
Okay. Yeah, I crashed. Sorry, guys.
Well, a rather simple message from him. Yeah, obviously he's not happy with himself having crashed, and yeah. Okay. The crash wasn't serious, really. It looks like they've just red flagged the session so they can get the car out on track, and yeah. It's a very unusual crash indeed. The crash just looks very weird indeed. He just turns in into the corner and then the rear end just decides to snap and just go away. Yeah. Harris Norris in 11th place. I don't know. I'll just check what tyres the McLarens are on. Well, that's not very helpful. I can't see what tyres the McLarens are on, so... Is it going to let me see what tyres these guys are on? No. Okay. Okay. Oh, I need to take the radio sign off for Carlos Sainz. In 2022... okay, right. And yeah, all right. So, they're both on softs. Yeah. So I don't see why the McLarens are so low down on in terms of pace really. And yeah. So it looks like Carlos Sainz is getting into the medical car. Yeah, just to confirm if he's all right. By the looks of it, he's completely fine really. Not much of a issue. For him. It was quite a low speed incident, especially because the last corner was not even the last corner isn't very quick. It's just it's like fourth gear corner, so it's not too bad really. And yeah. Will the car be fixed by Q3? I think if you get I don't think Carlos Sainz won't make it into Q3. He's down in P14 now. So he won't make it through into Q3. So I don't think it'll matter. I think more of it matters if they can fix the car now. But I don't know if they'll be able to do that. So we have some team radio from Charles Leclerc, and they're going to restart the session in 1 minute's time, I think. Yeah, 1 minute and the session will be restarted. So I'm going to put the green flag up because I'm going to forget. And yes, Nicholas Latifi has been improving, in fact. Wait, what do I need to play? Oh, I need to play Charles Leclerc's radio, yeah. Here we go.
The car was quite trickier compared to the previous session, a bit more oversteer.
Okay, so Charles is saying that the car, after one session, there was oversteer on the car, really. There's a red flag because Carlos Sainz crashed at the final corner, and yeah. But it's not too long of a red flag because we will be underway in literally 1 minute's time now. Green flag, here we go. Yeah, as I was saying, we are green flag conditions and all of the drivers are coming back out onto track now. And yeah, everyone tends to be very instantaneous when making statements. We are so anxious for coming up with an answer. What? Okay, we all need to calm down. Well, maybe we do. We need a yeah counter. Well, we do have... Oh, yeah. So, guys, what's the so yeah counter looking at? If anyone's been keeping track, what do you think? Is it around, like, 25? Because I think it is around 25. Yeah, mate, I think I'm going to ban this pocket phone guy. Let's just... Okay. 17. The so yeah counter's on 17. Alright. Well, thanks, Just Storms. I do appreciate it. Alright, so let's get back to the session now. It is green flag conditions. No one yet is out on track. All of the drivers will just be waiting right to the end. And, yeah. Well, thank you, Haydos Plays. I do appreciate it for, well, yeah, keeping track of all of the so yes. Just keep a tally, and then yeah, and then we'll remember all of the so yes, and we'll make sure we can keep count. So we have now Lewis Hamilton up in P1, then Charles Leclerc in P2, an epic lap from him, and then we have Verstappen in P3. He's been flying as well. Now it's just the battle of the Q3 showdown between the top drivers, and yeah. Bro, so you want to watch the practice after quali? Obviously practice for tomorrow. What? Okay. Yeah, no drivers still out on track because everyone's just going to be waiting right for the end, and then they're all going to get into a little traffic jam because that's what all the teams like to do. Just get everyone held up in traffic and screw up everyone's laps. Sainz did crash. Yep, they have recovered the car. He is okay as well, and yeah. Also, while we're waiting for all the cars to come out, if you guys do go ahead and follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Will be very nice of you. We're actually only like I think 6 followers away on Instagram to hit 100, and yeah, so it'll be very nice if we could hit 100 followers on Instagram. What do you think about sprint qualifying? Sprint qualifying, I think it was quite good. It definitely made it like kind of exciting, for sure, and yeah. But I don't know if that goes along with the essence and the spirit of Formula One, like having a little race before the actual race. It definitely makes it exciting, but I don't know if it's within the spirit of Formula One, so I'll have to wait and see on that. But I mean, if next year the racing is good, then I don't think there's any point in, like... I don't think there's any point in changing up if we have good... Next year, if we have good, like, qualifying and good racing conditions, like there's not dirty air or anything, then for sure. You do one hell of a good job describing everything accurately while trying to maintain coherent speech with all this stuff happening almost simultaneously. It's hard, yeah. I mean, it is quite hard. I think I do quite a bad job, in fact, but yeah. But it's alright. We're on 23, okay. If you want to watch me practice the Nordschleife in particular car, I will drive tomorrow in the race that we agreed on the lap per, so yeah. Which queue is it? We're in Q2 now. There's 2 minutes left of the session, and Valtteri Bottas, Charles Leclerc, Gasly, Verstappen, Ocon, Alonso, Stroll, Ricardo, Norris, Perez, Vettel, Raikkonen are all out on track, and Giovinazzi is as well. Alright. So, here we go. Where is Bob Brain? I just put him on a 10-minute time, or 10-minute timeout, or 5-minute timeout, because he was putting like random stuff like, I don't know, like Alpha is gonna like win the championship or something. So, he'll be back in like 5 minutes or something. So it's fine. We have now Valtteri Bottas starting his lap going into Q2. We'll wait and see what happens with him. Charles Leclerc going on another lap here. Only driver to go out on the mediums now is Valtteri Bottas. All the other drivers are out on softs. Most likely those drivers will be told to abort their lap if they don't need to make it through. But yeah. Alright, so Valtteri Bottas, first quickest in the middle, in the first sector. It's quickly taken away by Charles Leclerc. And now we'll wait and see what the other drivers can do. Pierre Gasly takes the quickest first sector away from Charles Leclerc. And we'll see what Verstappen can do now coming across the first sector line. Absolutely robs it away from Pierre Gasly. Okay, so we have Bottas now coming through the final corner across the line. Can he make it into Q3? He's about to lose his job, and crosses the line now, makes it up into P2. What a lap! 1.5 tenths away from Lewis Hamilton. He's on the mediums. Like, wow. Very good lap indeed from Valtteri Bottas. Next across the line is Charles Leclerc. He takes away, he goes into P2 now, only 2 hundredths away from Lewis Hamilton. Pierre Gasly goes up into P1. What a lap. I mean, everyone's putting in amazing laps again now. Max Verstappen goes into the 1 minute 15.6. He crosses the line on the soft tyres, guys. So he'll be starting the lap on the soft tyres tomorrow. Whereas, we'll see what... Well, Bottas is starting on the mediums. We'll see what Lewis Hamilton does. But by the looks of it, Lewis Hamilton will be starting the race on the mediums tyres. So it's going to be a split strategy tomorrow. Fernando Alonso goes up into P3. Charles Leclerc up in P5. Stroll now to cross the line. Let's see what he can do. Stroll up into P8. Next across the line, Danny Rick. He's just had the worst luck now, up into P8. Takes away from Stroll. Next across the line, Lando Norris. Can he keep up his consistent streak? Yes, he can. Up into P2. What a amazing job from him. Sergio Perez up into P4 now, getting close to Max Verstappen, still not close enough yet. And then we have Seb Vettel crossing the line, goes up into P10, takes Danny Rick into the elimination zone. Let's see if Kimi Raikkonen can knock him out. Kimi Raikkonen, unfortunately, down in P13. Then the only person that can stop Seb Vettel from getting... Oh, we have Lewis Hamilton now to cross the line. By the looks of it, he's going to be going rather slowly across the line. Yep. Lewis Hamilton will be starting tomorrow's race on the mediums, and Max Verstappen will be starting tomorrow's race on the softs. Interesting split strategy between the two teams there. And yeah. Alright, so that has been it. Q2 is over. Seb did it, stayed in P10. And the drivers to be eliminated are Daniel Ricciardo, Lance Stroll, Kimi Raikkonen, Antonio Giovinazzi, and Carlos Sainz. Yeah. I mean, look at that lap time from Max Verstappen. He nearly goes a full second quicker than Valtteri Bottas. And Max Verstappen obviously on the softs, Valtteri Bottas on the mediums, but the gap between the mediums and the softs is not 1 second. It's more like 0.6 of a second. So that lap from Max Verstappen, absolutely epic. All of the drivers putting in absolutely stunning performances. All of the drivers must be in the flow of the middle sector, because that middle sector is make or break of your lap. If you don't get a good middle sector in, then your lap is going downhill, really. And yeah, so now we have Q3, which will be starting very, very soon indeed. And yeah. Yeah, I mean, bad days happen to everyone, so it is good. Alonso had a super lap, though. So let's talk about everyone until Q3 starts. Verstappen don't in an absolute mega lap compared to everyone else, flying like so far ahead of everyone. Lando Norris, Mr. Consistent, really has scored points in the previous 15 races. Very good job from him. Up in P2. Next we have Pierre Gasly in P3. He's bounced back from Silverstone, had a bad weekend there, and shown that he can perform even if he has a bad weekend. Up into P3 now. Next we have Sergio Perez, who's closed the gap to Verstappen, but still he needs to close it even more. He is ahead of the Mercedes, but still not enough really. Considering Red Bull need a good second driver to challenge for the championship. Then Fernando Alonso, I mean, this man has put in an Alpine up into P5. Alpine have not been driving that well, not a good car, and yeah. Supermax indeed. In fact, if Max wins and gets pole position, then I will be playing Supermax for sure. So for you Danny Rick fans, so Multi Ninja and other Australians, Daniel Ricciardo messed up his lap in the turn 6-7 chicane. He hit the inside sausage curb and then bounced over the inside sausage curb at turn 6, and then bounced over the inside sausage curb at turn 7 because he hit it at turn 6. So he hit it at turn 6, the car got messed up a bit, hit it at turn 7, car got even more messed up, and then just couldn't have a smooth run across those corners, and that's where he lost most of his time. And that is why Danny Rick is down in P11. But I mean, P11 is still good. That means if he's starting on the medium tyres, he has a strategy advantage over other guys. But nevertheless, if Norris is up in P2, then it's gonna be very difficult to catch up to him. Really, Gasly is definitely underrated. He did get knocked. He got kicked out of Red Bull because he wasn't performing well enough, and now he's gone to AlphaTauri and blown everyone out of the water. Already got a race win at Monza last year. Absolutely crazy indeed. Mercedes P6, P8. Well, yeah, those guys are P6, P8, but those guys are on the medium tyres, so yeah, I think you need to remember that, because as soon as these guys strap on the soft tyres and go maximum attack, these guys are definitely going to be at the top. We'll wait and see the true pace of all of these cars then, yeah. Is there Q3? Yeah, Q3 will be starting in about, 2 minutes. So, 2 minutes and we'll be underway for Q3, really. This isn't Q3 yet, so in 2 minutes Q3 will start, and then yeah, we've got 700 viewers and only 140 likes. So if you guys haven't liked or if you guys haven't subscribed, be sure to do so. It will really help out the channel, and yeah, I mean I do this for all of the races. I stream for qualifying and the race. So if you guys do want to subscribe, then be sure to do that, and if you guys haven't liked, then do that as well. I'm starting to think Yuki was a bit too overhyped. I mean, I think that's what happened. Yuki Tsunoda in Bahrain, he had a very good test at Bahrain, did very good job in the testing at Bahrain, but then obviously the next race was also at Bahrain, which meant that he would just carry over that experience. So it was almost like he had an extra long practice session at Bahrain, and then he did a really good job. And the skill of a really good driver is to adapt to any track in a very short amount of time. So Yuki Tsunoda needed a long amount of time. He needed the whole of testing and then the practice sessions to get up in a very good job done at Bahrain. Whereas in all of the other tracks, he only has the practice sessions. He doesn't have a test. So if Yuki Tsunoda can get up to speed in a shorter period of time, he can definitely be a very good driver indeed. But as of if you only have 3 practice sessions, then he will definitely be overhyped, according to what he was before at least. So, yeah. We have some team radio from Kimi Räikkönen, so I'm going to play that.
Your best quali is a long time, so let's be happy. We did a good job.
You're wrong. Last race was the best for me.
Kimi's team has been saying you've done a good job, but I don't think Kimi was disagreeing. I think Kimi could have done a better lap. That's what he thinks at least. And yeah. Alright, so Q3 will be underway in about like 20 seconds or a minute and 20 seconds. So not long now until the final stages of qualifying. We have 10 drivers now: Verstappen, Norris, Gasly, Perez, Alonso, Hamilton, Leclerc, Bottas, Ocon and Vettel in the final top 10 shootout. We'll see which driver can go where. All of the drivers will be on soft tyres, pushing to the absolute max. And yeah, so Q3 is underway. And yeah. Lando's very confident and very consistent. I'm not sure exactly which one you're trying to say, but for sure. All right. No one has come out yet because all the drivers will be waiting for someone else to come out and rubber in the track for them. And yeah. If anyone's keeping track of the So Yeah counter, does anyone know what we're on? I will update it now. In fact, yeah. Alright, so Norris and Gasly coming out of the pits alongside Esteban Ocon as well. It's looking good for those guys to get a clean lap in without any traffic, because as soon as there's only 10 drivers out on track now before to when there was 20, so less drivers out on track, it's going to be good. It's going to be better for these guys. Nevertheless, the teams have to be on their toes, trying not to hit any traffic here. And yeah, it is Q3 now. Lando hasn't got a DNF since his rookie year. I mean, yeah, 15 races he hasn't. He's scored a point. So 15 races in a row he's scored a point. He is literally Mr. Consistent, and yeah. All right. So Gasly's the first driver out on track. Norris will be following him very very soon, and then I think we have Ocon also coming out on track. Yeah. Yep, Ocon's out on track then, Fernando Alonso. Yuki Tsunoda's favourite tree is an apple tree. Cool. Alright. Everyone's coming out on track. Soft tyres, maximum push now. This is it to decide the starting grid of tomorrow's race. The top 10 shootout. 9 minutes 30 seconds of maximum attack. Alright. Yeah, Jeeves, can we... I think for top... At least for now, at least for Q3, can we stop with the interesting facts? They may be interesting, but I think Q3 is slightly more interesting. All of the drivers out on track now, except for Seb Vettel, because by the looks of it, Seb Vettel doesn't have extra sets of soft tyres, so he'll just go for a lap right at the end to make sure he gets no traffic and gets the most rubbered up circuit possible. Alright, so Pierre Gasly first to start his lap going into turn 1, braking at 70-metre board, shifting down into third gear, sweeping corner, make sure not to hit the curb on the entry, going down into turn 2, lots of understeer here for all of the drivers, and he navigates it well, obviously flat on the throttle, flat for the kink as well of turn 3, going down the straight now, a little breather before going into the highest speed corner of the circuit, turn 4, flick to the left, make sure not to run too far onto the curb, otherwise your lap will be invalidated. Going into the turn 6-7 chicane, make sure not to hit the entry, the sausage curb, otherwise your lap will be over basically. Into the middle sector of the corner of the lap now. Speeds increasing as each corner goes by, pushing the tyres to the absolute limit now. Tiny little breather before the end of start of sector 3. Yeah, thanks Multi Ninja. And yeah, so Pierre Gasly now, first across the line now. So Pierre Gasly has set provisional pole at 1 minute 16.7. Next across the line is Lando Norris. He comes across the line with a 1 minute 16.8. So not a good lap from Lando Norris, in fact. Yeah, lost out in the third sector compared to Pierre Gasly, and yeah. Alright, so quickest first sector from Lewis Hamilton, and now it's quickest middle sector from Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton is flying. Max Verstappen crosses the line now, goes P1, 1 minute 15.9. So he has not been able to replicate. He's not been able to replicate his Q2 lap. His Q2 lap was so quick, 1 minute 15.6, and he hasn't been able to replicate it. 3 tenths behind, in fact. Not that good, in fact. And then we have Lewis Hamilton, a 1 minute 15.4. So it looks like we're not going to get any Supermax today because, like, he's just not been performing really. Yeah. Oh, guys, sorry, my mic broke. Okay, I'm back. Yeah. But, so we have Lewis Hamilton at 1 minute 15.4, then Valtteri Bottas 1 minute 15.7, and then we have Max Verstappen at 1 minute 15.9. So it's not looking that good for Max Verstappen, in fact, because Sergio Perez is behind him. Perez got up into 4th place, but yeah. So Adriano, basically, whatever tyres you do in Q2, those tyres you start the race on. So if you want to start the race on the mediums, that's why in Q2 some of the drivers go on the mediums in qualifying in Q2. But if you go on to start the race on the soft tyres, then yeah. So if you want the top speed of the drivers are, well, the quickest drivers are Kimi Räikkönen and Antonio Giovinazzi at 309 kilometers an hour, and all of the other drivers around about 300 kilometers an hour. Multi Ninja, you're not the only one with a glitched mic. Apparently my mic has been glitching today. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but I'll try and fix it for tomorrow. Yeah, I can't even tell why it's glitching out. So yeah. But I'll definitely try and fix it for tomorrow. Yeah. Well, Bob Brain, my guy, I don't. Right, let's just stop. So Seb Vettel's the only driver now out on track going to set his lap time. That will be his only lap time of the full session, really. He only has one set of new soft tyres, so that's why he's setting his lap time now. And yeah, green first sector, around about the same first sector time as Fernando Alonso, and then a slowest, I think the slowest third middle sector out of everyone, in fact. Yeah, not looking good for him. Slowest middle sector out of even Sergio Perez, and Sergio Perez has been struggling a lot in that middle sector. And then in the final sector, Seb Vettel crosses the line to go P8. Good lap from him, but obviously could be better. Maybe up into P6 was probably the best the Aston Martin could do. And yeah. Norris though down in P10. I think he had just a bit of a mistake in one of the corners, I think, because I can't exactly tell why he's down in P10 because he was performing very, very well indeed. Yeah. Alright, Gasly's out on track now. I think Gasly will be coming out on track very, very soon indeed. And yeah, how long does Q3 go on for? Well, it's a 12-minute session, but there's only 2 minutes and 34 seconds left. Yeah. Alright, everyone who's subscribed as well, I very much do appreciate the support. If you subscribe and like, that very much does help out the channel. Yeah, if we could hit 200 likes, we've got 800 people watching, so maybe 200 likes, that'd be very cool. And yeah, so I'll start commentary when everyone else comes out on track, because the only driver we've got out right now is Seb Vettel, and he's on an in-lap. So Gasly and Perez look like they're coming out now. Yeah, Gasly's out on track. So Sergio Perez is also coming out. And yeah. Oh my god, it's telling you to follow the wrong links. Okay. Your mic glitch every time you stop speaking and start speaking. Right. Well, there's a setting for that, but I can't exactly like pin down which one it is. Yeah, I mean, I'll try and fix it. I'll fix it for tomorrow for sure. Yeah. All right. So here we go then. The final laps of Q3. We have Pierre Gasly, then Charles Leclerc, Fernando Alonso, Lando Norris, Esteban Ocon, Valtteri Bottas, Lewis Hamilton, Max Verstappen. Both those drivers going side by side. In fact, on the track, it would be very fun to watch these guys have a little battling themselves. Then we have Sergio Perez last to cross the line. We'll wait and see if he makes it across in time. It looks like Max is going to be playing some mind games with Lewis. But yeah, 43 seconds for everyone to start their lap. And yeah, that will be it for qualifying. Yeah, we did get the Soya counter up. Soya counter to 24. Alright, I'll do that and then we'll start the final bit of commentary for today. 24. Done. Alright, so Bottas to start his lap. Then we have, oh, they might run out of time in fact. Hamilton looks like to be backing everyone up so much that they can't start their lap, which is sneaky from Hamilton. Very sneaky indeed. Only 7 seconds left of the session. Max Verstappen will cross the line. Can Sergio Perez cross the line in time? By the looks of it, Sergio Perez cannot cross the lap. Oh my god. It was sneaky tactics from Lewis Hamilton, in fact. Do you think Max's engine will last the race? I don't. I think it will. If it's lasted up until now in qualifying, then for sure. Yeah. Okay. So now going across the line, going first sector for everyone. Only Gasly, Alonso, and Norris have improved. Everyone else has been worse in the first sector. In fact, then we have Pierre Gasly improves in all sectors, goes up into P5. Then we have Charles Leclerc, P6. Next across the line, Lando Norris goes up into P6. Then we have Esteban Ocon, who has basically been absolutely terrible since he got that new contract at Alpine, P8. Then we have Valtteri Bottas now crossing the line, see what he can do. He improves in the final sector, but cannot improve his final overall lap time. Next across the lap is Lewis Hamilton, and he now is in the third. Yeah, so Lewis Hamilton takes pole position, guys. Yeah. Lewis Hamilton has got pole position in today's qualifying session. He does a very sneaky tactic indeed. He just blocks Lewis. He blocks Max Verstappen, so Max Verstappen gets a bunch of dirty air, and yeah. And it was sneaky tactics from Lewis Hamilton, and yeah, blocked Verstappen so he couldn't get past him, and then so he got a bunch of dirty air. But Lewis is on pole position for tomorrow's race. A 1-2 for Mercedes in qualifying today. Then we have the Red Bulls 3 and 4, and then Pierre Gasly P5, Lando Norris P6, Leclerc P7, Ocon, Alonso, and Vettel P8, 9, and 10. And yeah. Can't get pole without these scummy tactics. Well, maybe. I mean, maybe if Red Bull investigate it, then that might happen. Maybe Red Bull will be like, he blocked him. And yeah, because Perez couldn't get his lap time across because he was too late. So your race predictions are Ham, Bot, Perez, Norris. Okay, well, we'll see, won't we? Alright guys, well, thank you for tuning in. It's been a pleasure to, to have you guys listen to me, I guess. And also, all of you guys that have voted yes on the poll, to say you wanted to come on to the live stream, would you guys be alright if I sent you a link to download an app, and then if you guys downloaded the app, and then you guys could come on to the live stream and just have a chat, I guess, with what you think about Formula 1 and stuff. So if you guys would be alright with downloading the app, do let me know. Just in the chat, just say, an app is fine, or I don't know, just say like, yeah, say something like that, I guess. Maybe now Lewis won't try to kill someone. We will see. Rickus, you wouldn't mind. What's dirty tactics? Basically, what Lewis did was he slowed down so much in the final corner that Max Verstappen got all of his dirty air going throughout the lap, and yeah. Thank you, Jiha Violet. I do appreciate it, and Rufaro and Rickus. If you guys are alright with getting an app, I will try and see if there's any apps that we can get, and yeah. And then you guys can come out on stream, and then maybe before the race starts or after qualifying, you guys can come on and talk, like, what do you think about the session and Lewis's tactics, but yeah. Alright, so that has been it for today's qualifying session. We have Lewis Hamilton P1, Valtteri Bottas P2, Max Verstappen P3, and Sergio Perez P4. Tomorrow's race is going to be very, very interesting indeed. I am streaming tomorrow for tomorrow's race, so be sure to tune in. I will very much appreciate it. And yeah, I guess I will see you guys tomorrow then. I don't know, I might stay on for a bit actually. And then yeah, Red Bull could have overtaken, yeah. But I think Max tried to overtake Lewis, in fact, and Lewis didn't let him. So we'll wait and see what happens between these two guys. In fact, they're on the grid right now, so we'll see what Lewis and Max do. Max just walks over to Bottas's car, and yeah, just walks past them. So it looks like they're just doing they're doing the weight check thing. But yeah. Even in the race, they are blocking each other, so nothing to cry about, yeah. Yeah, all the channels are for Olympics, that's true, yeah. Yeah, if Max messes up into turn one, we'll wait and see what happens, though. We'll wait and see what happens. Yeah, well, Adriano, well, it's nice. This is why I stream. So all of you guys who don't have the official F1 thing can see F1 really. So yeah, nice to see that you're on board with the channel, and yeah, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe. And I'm streaming tomorrow for all of the other races for the rest of the season. So yeah, we'll see what Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen do. They're about to walk into each other now. Actually, I think they're gonna talk to each other. I will just double check and see what happens. Yeah, I think people are a bit too racist. Okay, so Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton, they just fist bump and then they just walk past. And yeah. Alright, so that's been it really. Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen fist bump each other. There's no hard feelings between them. And yeah. So I will see you guys tomorrow. I will end the stream now. And oh, if we could hit 200 likes, that'd be cool. Just before the stream finishes. But yeah. Alright, so we have a quote from Max Verstappen. In fact, the whole weekend we've had was a bit behind, and it showed in qualifying. We're still there in P3, and we'll see what we can do. But yeah, not what I want. The grip is higher on the soft tires, and that will give an opportunity off the line. Thanks Multi Ninja for banning him. Yeah. Alright then. So that has been it, guys. 24 counts on the Soya counter. There's probably more, but it's alright. Yeah, so I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you, everyone. And yeah, have a nice day, morning, evening, afternoon, or night, depending on where you are in the world. And yeah, I'll see you tomorrow.